here we are with the two quiz questions, and we're close to being able to get hundreds. We're getting lots of 80s, 90s, 95s, but we are not nailing any hundreds yet. So let's go through and set it up step by step, getting through each of the things. Now, question number 1 says one number is 7 more than 3 times another number. The sum of the two numbers is 39. Find both numbers. Always read the question through once, just to get a feel for the question. Then I want to start setting it up and breaking it down. First off, we always ask ourselves, how many numbers are in the problem? How many? 2. So I set up my table. First number, second number. Again, it doesn't matter if you call them one number and other number, whatever, it makes absolutely no difference. What do I always let the first number be? Everybody, what is it? X and whatever. Okay, so we'll call it X. Now, the other number is 7 more than 3 times. How do I write 7 more than 3 times that first number? Come on. 3x plus 7, good. That's that last shall be first and first shall be last thing. Okay, so I can cross all of that off. Next, the sum of the two numbers is 39. Now, by the way, as you look at your sheet, did you cross things off as you use them? It's a really good habit to get into. That way, as time goes on, you have a strategy or a plan to help you out when you get more confused. So, as we look here, what does that have to do with anything? That the sum of the two numbers, oh, Patrick, on your sheet, you filled in the first number, but you never filled in the second number. And that's one of the great things about crossing things off. See, if you would have gone back to this, and rather than look at the whole question, just look at the first sentence and say, one number is 7 more than 3 times the other, you would have been able to write the 3x plus 7 here, and then you would have been able to proceed. Okay? So tell me, the sum of the two numbers is 39. What does that let me conclude? Come on, let's go here, Livicora, what do we get? What about the 3x plus 7?
You have to add them up.
And what's them?
3x plus 7, the first number.
Yes, that's the key. The first and the second numbers. If you want, come over here and write first number plus second number is 39. Now, what was the first number? It's x. What was the second number? It's 3x plus 7. Now, is this a same side situation or an opposite side situation? Same side. So we get 4x plus 7 is 39. Minus the 7 from both sides. 4x is 32. Divide by 4. X is 8. And in this class, in the last class, lots of people forgot to go back and find the value of the other number. X is 8. Beautiful. 3 times 8 plus 7 is 31.
Oh.
Yeah, you got to do that. Because it says, what are the last 3 words of the whole problem? Find both numbers, not just one number. So 8 and 31 are the answers. Okay? You know, Patrick, one of the really important things about setting this, and you should all be understanding this, I'm not talking to just Patrick here. But on Patrick's paper, Patrick has been getting outstanding grades pretty much the entire year. And when he set up his table, he did X, and then he couldn't come up with the second one. So he left it blank, and then he didn't proceed in the problem. But these are partial credit questions. If you ever do come across a question where you can't figure out the other part of the box, make something up. Just guess. And then use that. Basically, to set up the box was worth like 20 points, and to solve it was worth 30. If you never set up the second question of the box, even though we both know, Patrick, you can do all of this work with ease. If you never set this up here and you never get a chance to start the second part of the problem, you can't earn any of these points. So you want to make it a point to always set up the points. Okay, yes?
How would you get 31?
3 times 8 is 24 plus 7 is 31. So I just substitute the 8 in for the x. Okay? Questions? All right. Now let's take a look at the next one, solve for x. And it's encouraging to see that so many people are getting this question right, because on a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being the easiest and 5 being the hardest, I would put this question at, somewhere around a 3.5, maybe even a 4, in terms of what the state would ever ask on their Regents exam, on their state assessment. So I think we're looking pretty good here. Distribute 4x minus 20 plus x plus 3 is 23. So I didn't write anything about here. That's all just a repeat. Is this the same side or an opposite side situation? Same side. You were the only one to get the 8 and the 31. And then you messed up this part, which was the easy part. Okay? 4x and 1x make 5x. Now what's negative 20 and positive 3? I got 20 negatives, 3 positives. What do I have all together, guys? Negative 17 equals 23. Add 17. 5x, keep in mind that is a 23. 5x is 40, not 50. Somebody wrote 50. Okay? 5x equals 40. Divided by 5. X is 8. So 8 is the correct answer. Okay, any questions about that? No? Okay, good. All right, so we're done with the quiz now, and it's time to go to today's lesson. And it's very difficult, obviously, as a teacher, to be able to see what every kid is doing on every problem. I know that some kids sometimes, they tend to not pay as much attention to the do it as they do to the quiz. And that's a big mistake. They go hand in hand. The reason the quiz can be so short is there's only so much time in a period to get them graded, get them returned, to get onto the lesson. In fact, I even find with the previous class where there's 31 kids that I don't get through the lesson every single day, whereas with you guys, I do get through the lesson pretty much every single day. Going over the do it is a further way to reinforce what's going on with what goes on in class. You can't put everything going on in class on the quiz. So the do it is a big help in terms of the global picture here of what goes on in the class. All right, number 1, we always read the sentence together, so let's read it. The sum of 3 consecutive even integers is 15, and that is impossible. The sum of 3 consecutive even integers cannot be 15. Let me think. Hold on. Let's make it 30. So everybody, let's just change it to 30. Hold on, let me see.
You already did this last time.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we did.
We didn't. But what does it say the 3 consecutive even integers add up to? I think last time it says 3 consecutive integers. I think this time it says 3 consecutive even. You see that? And that's a huge difference. Super huge difference. Now, here's the thing. I am so thankful you showed this to me. Annabella has what looks like beautiful work. And if the question had said, find 3 consecutive integers, you would be 100% right. But it doesn't. It says 3 consecutive even integers. So, let's play around, and let's think a little bit, and let's see if we can just work our way through the problem, okay? First off, how many numbers are in this problem? 3. So I make a table, I just make it a little bit bigger. First, consecutive even integer. Second, consecutive even integer. And then third, consecutive even integer. All right, what do we always let the first one be? X. Now, somebody tell me your favorite even integer. Gabby, what's your favorite even number?
2.
2. What's the next even number?
4.
How did you get from 2 to 4?
By 2.
Adding 2. So if the first one's x, what's the next one have to be? Everybody? X plus 2. And then what does the one after that have to be? X plus 4. So that is an adjustment. If we do consecutive integer, it's always x, x plus 1, x plus 2, x plus 3, and so on. If I do consecutive even, it's not x, x plus 1, x plus 2. It's x, x plus 2, x plus 4. Patrick, head up, bud. What if I said consecutive odd? What would that be? You're gonna get it wrong, I know you are. Go ahead.
X plus one.
Yeah, it's wrong. Everybody says that. They all go x, x plus 1, x plus 3, x plus 5, and it's not right. You just raised your hand too fast. That means you hadn't thought about it. Tell me your favorite odd number. Good. What's the next odd number? How do you go from 3 to 5? Add 2. Consecutive odd and consecutive even are the same. They're both x, x plus 2. Now you know why I just knew that you had it wrong. There's no way anybody goes. You have to think, favorite odd, how do I go from odd to odd? Then you can get it right. Okay. All right, so I did my 3 consecutive even integers. The sum is 30. So there's my equals 30, and add them up. So there's the first one, plus the second one, plus the third one is 30. So there we go. I've got everything crossed off. Is this the same side or an opposite side situation? Same. Patrick, do you think I said pick your head up so that you could put it right back down in the same position again a minute later? 3x. Now, I also do same side with the numbers, and it's really important. I've been noticing a lot of mistakes with kids with the numbers. You have to always remember to peek in front. What's 2 positives and 4 positives? 6y. Positive. So 3x plus 6 is 30, minus 6. 3x is 24, divide by 3, x is 8. I'm done, right?
No.
No, why?
You gotta find the largest.
You gotta find the largest number. It's nice that x is 8, but I still need to use that. What's the next integer? Everybody? 10. And what's the next integer?
12.
12. And that's the largest.
I already redid the question.
There you go. Excellent. Okay. So now let's take a look at number 2. One number is 7 more than twice another number. We're doing that obligatory read here. One number is 7 more than twice another number. The sum of the two numbers is 37. Find both numbers. I found it pretty ironic that I think this is the same as is on the last quiz, you know, the quiz A. And I wrote the quiz 2 years different than I wrote the lesson sheet. And I do change the homework a little bit on the lesson sheet, but the do it stayed the same. And they came up with the same exact question. Okay, there's 2 numbers in the problem. One number, other number. First number will let be n. What's the other number going to be? What was that? 2n plus 7. Very good. So there's my first line of information used, and I cross it off. I cross it off because I've used it, and I probably won't need to use it again, almost never. The sum of the two numbers is 37. What does that tell you? Everybody, what do you do? Middle door. Head up. Add them up. So the first one plus the second one. The first one is n plus the second one, which is 2n plus 7. Sometimes it helps kids to see that. The first one plus the second one. The first one, there it is, it's n. The second one, there it is, it's 2n plus 7. That sum has to be 37. Just like before, this is the same side situation. 3n plus 7 is 37. Minusing the 7 from both sides, I get 3n is equal to 30. Divide by 3, n is 10. And that's my correct answer. Okay, any question about that? Go ahead. Oh, thank you very much. It does, it says find both numbers. I use that too to cross it out. This guy's 10, and the other one is 2 times 10 plus 7 is 27. So my two numbers are 10 and 27. Okay? Any questions? All right. So now we get into some new stuff. And the new stuff we're going to start talking about involves perimeter. Let's see here. We're out at 11:30, so I'm going to give you like a minute and a half to start this on your own. And I want you to fumble with it a little bit, and that'll help. God bless. Okay, I think we have fumbled for long enough. Who wants to read it? Patrick, you get to read it because you had your head down again. Go ahead.
Length of rectangle is 3 more than the width. The perimeter of rectangle is labeled on a dimensions, I think.
Sweet. Everybody hold your papers up with the question facing me. Okay, nobody set this up the way I would, but Patrick and Michael and a number of others did try to set up a table. That's a good thing. A table is a great way to set up problems. But there's also sometimes a picture. And when our question involves geometry, which is shapes, study of measurement and shapes and so on, it's often better to draw the shape itself. So what I'm going to do with number 1 is I'm going to draw a rectangle. There's my rectangle. Then I'm going to take the stuff in the sentences, the information, the data, if you will, and then I'm going to take that information and I'm going to place it wherever it belongs on the diagram of the picture that I just drew. So it says the length of a rectangle is 3 more than the width, the perimeter is 34. Do you know what the width is? Does anybody know what the width is? No, so you know what I'm gonna call it? I'm gonna call it W. Why do you think I chose W? Yeah, that's what width starts with, so it gives me a sense of what the variable stands for. I could have chosen X, I could have chosen N, but when you use a W and there's the word width in the problem, there's a connection there that helps you out a little bit later on, possibly. Now it says the length is 3 more than the width. So how would I write an expression? Mike, man, I'm losing you. How would I write an expression for 3 more than the width? Help me out, Cass. Darlene?
3 times W?
I'm sorry, what?
3 times W?
More than. More than's not multiply. What's that? Yeah, but I do prefer to write it W plus 3. Now, if you wrote 3 plus W, you would get it right. But more than and less than, I always like to change the order. First shall be last, last shall be first. Okay? Now, that information is everything in the first sentence. I would like to fill a little bit more of the diagram in though, because what does perimeter mean?
All sides.
What do you do to all the sides?
And
Add them up. Do I have all the sides in the picture labeled yet? No. So what's this guy over here? W, and what's this guy? Nice. So now I can do what they're talking about with perimeter, and I can literally add up all the sides. So I'll start here. W plus 3. All I'm doing is going around it like this. Plus W, this is the third side here, plus another W plus 3. And what does that all have to add up to? 34. Good. So now I can cross off this piece of information. And the only thing left is the directions. What do the directions tell me to do? Find the dimensions. That's the length and the width. So I just have to solve the equation. Is this a same side situation or an opposite side situation? Same side. So what's the next step going to look like? Yeah, so what do I get? 4W. And what do I get when I add up the numbers? Plus 6 equals 34. And now it's standard 2-stepper, send in the ground troops, minus 6 to both sides. 4W is 28. Divide by 4. W is 7. I'm all done, right? Right? I'm all done? I can exhale and go eat a chocolate chip cookie? Why am I not done? Why? Find the dimensions. What do dimensions mean? Here are the dimensions that we think of in the world. The first two dimensions are length and width. The third dimension, when we get into three-dimensional geometry, is height. So you got length and width, then you got height if you have three dimensions. This does not, this is only two. Some people theorize that the fourth dimension is time. And some people feel there are even more dimensions after that, okay? So the width is equal to 7, so I come over here and I put 7. What's the length gonna be? Whoa! What's the length gonna be? Come on, guys. 10. W plus 3 is 7 plus 3, which is 10. Okay? Any questions? Okay, you guys try number 2.
You just dropped everything down.
Yeah, that just fell off though. That wasn't a me problem. Yeah, take this one all the way through. Don't just set it up. Go from beginning to end. I'm loving it. I look around, I see everybody drawing pictures of rectangles. Now the width is gonna be W, right? And then you just gotta write an expression for the length. Another minute or so. Okay, so length of a rectangle is 1 less than twice its width. As soon as I see a shape, I want to draw the shape. The shape's a rectangle, so I immediately get my fancy pen out and I go, there's my width, and the length is 1 less than twice the width. How do I write an expression for 1 less than twice the width?
W minus 1.
Did you say 2W minus 1?
W minus
Yeah, it says twice the width. So it should be 2W minus 1. So this guy is also 2W minus 1, and this guy is also W. Now, listen, if you put a W minus 1 instead of 2W minus 1, you're still going to get most of the credit in the problem. You get 2 out of 3, maybe 3 out of 4. So it's not like you did a terrible thing, but it's not perfect. Now I add up all the sides. 2W minus 1 plus W, that's these two sides. Now do these two. Plus another 2W minus 1 plus another W is, so I did all of this. And then it says the perimeter is 40, so I'm using up this. Is this a same side situation or an opposite side? Same side. So that's 2, 3, 5, 6W minus 2 is 40. Then I'm gonna add 2 to both sides. And I'll get 6W is 42. Again, this should be cruise control. I am going quickly, but we've done so many of these, I think you can follow that comfortably, and your quizzes suggest you can. So the width is equal to 7. I'm done, right? No. The directions actually say find the perimeter of the rectangle, which is kind of silly because the perimeter is 40. It just said the perimeter was 40. But let's assume it meant find the dimensions of the rectangle. So this would be 7. And this would be 2 times 7 is 14, minus 1 is 13. And one of the things I find so comforting is at the end of the problem, I can just add up all the sides and see if I come up with 40. 13 and 13 is 26, and 3 is 33, and another 7 is 40. So I know that I have the problem right. Okay? Okay, setup number 3. Don't solve it, set it up. I'll give you 30 seconds to do that. I already read it, so I don't need to read it again. What will I let the width be? W, good. And then it says the length is 3 times the width. So if the width is W, what's the length? 3W, good. And then there's a W and a 3W. By the way, when I add up all of those, what do I come up with? 3W, W, 3W, W, 8W, and what do I have to equal? 64. And there's my problem. And then obviously I divide by 8 and go from there. Okay? All right, guys, we're in really good shape. We're going to have 3 different pre-tests before the test, so I think you're going to be in fantastic shape for your test on Friday. There will be no excuses if you're not. And keep in mind, there is no relearn packet on this test. Oh, thank you. It fell again? Thank you. There's no relearn packet on this test, so... Oh, it looks to me like my thing broke here.